Hi guys, welcome back to Land of Late Night. I'm your host, Haley Ringo. I am so excited for tonight's episode. Tonight we have Zach Peter. He's a host, he's a producer, he has 2 podcasts. The first one is No Filter with Zach. The second is the Adulting Podcast, and praise God because we all need those tips. Welcome to the show, Zach. I'm so happy to have you here tonight.
We're like doing real people IRL stuff.
I know.
I'm used to like doing Zoom, so it's nice to be like in the physical presence of another human being.
Yeah, I'm just excited to have people back on set, be shooting the show again. You guys, I've missed you so much. This has been so fucking long overdue, and I'm glad that we have you here tonight. You guys, so he showed up here tonight with his own rosé that you just recently launched. So I would love, first, let's open the cans. Let's give a little ASMR, okay?
Yes. Okay, you're gonna do a blue, I'll do a yellow.
Okay, perfect, cheers.
Cheers.
That was sexy. Okay, that's really, really good.
It's light, it's crisp, it has a little bit of bubbles, so it's got just like a little sparkle to it.
I mean, I see apple on here, but I taste like an apple. Hint of apple?
It has notes. It's very berry forward. So strawberries, fresh berries, there's a little bit of sage in it. So it's good. And not only that, because like me, I like to drink, but I don't like to be like fucked up and hungover the next day.
Blackout.
So less than a gram of sugar, organic, low sulfite, but there's still all the fun because it's 12.8% alcohol.
So you might get fucked up.
All 4 of these is equivalent to drinking an entire bottle of wine. So you'll get fucked up. You'll get lit and you'll have a good time and you're not gonna be like hella hungover tomorrow.
I mean, that's the best of both worlds, but also this alone is gonna get me blackout because I was telling him off the show, I'm such a lightweight now, you guys. Like, I don't drink anymore. So of course we made a tequila drink along with the rosé to just really send this ship sailing. Okay, so I wanted you to tell us, I mean, like, we'll get into all the nitty gritty, but like, because we've been talking about the wine, these, as you can see, have all different sayings on them.
So it's all the same rosé, but each of the 4 cans is designed around one of my favorite, but also most iconic reality TV moments from the Real Housewives franchise. So on #NoFilter, we talk about housewives every single week. We break it all down, like who's going to jail this week, who's, you know, cheating on their husband. It's me. Surprise! Each of the cans is designed, so we have one that says, "Now who gon' check me, boo?" which is an iconic scene from Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Who gon' check me, boo?
We have "I'm Ready to Flip a Table," which is from Real Housewives of New Jersey. Everybody knows the housewife table flip from Jersey.
Stupid bitch!
I feel like that's my personality. Like, I'm ready to flip a bitch.
Everyone's gonna have like a personality. The one you're drinking says, "I'm ready to mention it all," which was Bethany Frankel, and she like did her like legs in the air and she's like, "I'm ready to mention it all."
Mention it all. Mention it all, because you know what?
Bitch,
I earn my own living.
Because sometimes when people drink, they just like spill all the tea, which is probably my spirit
I was
animal.
like, this is also me though. Like, I tend to take my clothes off when I get too drunk, so.
Depends on the night and the mood. And then the last one is from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and it's "I Stole Kim's Goddamn House," which is from the iconic season 1 finale where Kim accuses her sister of stealing her house.
Yeah, everything I've done for you. You stole my goddamn house!
So I probably don't fully I don't steal people's shit when I get drunk.
Right.
Not always.
You're not a klepto, that's good.
No, I don't steal their shit, but I usually just give away all of my body to men.
Right, well, and that's okay. I mean,
They
that's
steal
not,
my
right.
dignity.
Yeah. You're not stealing anything, you're giving it away. You know what, but you know what?
I'm a giver.
Yeah, you're a giver, you're being generous. That's how I view that, you know what I mean? And then you say you're welcome to literally everyone that comes into your presence.
Exactly. I'm gifting them my presence.
And your
I
personality.
gift them alcohol, I gift them my vibe.
Your real platinum hair.
My naturally platinum hair. My naturally spray tanned body.
Yes, I know. I just put so much self tanner on last night before we filmed. I'm like 2 layers, like dousing myself in fucking tanning oil because I'm so pale right now. We haven't been in. I don't leave my house.
Haven't needed to do anything.
No.
Now we're like at the point where we're like, no, we have to actually look presentable for people in real life, not just Zoom.
Right. I know. I'm going to Tulum in like 2 months, like a month and a half, and I was like, fuck, I need to like at least walk every day, or like do something active, because
Yeah.
I just lay on my couch and edit video or do social media. Social media is a job in itself. Like, right?
Listen.
I want to ask you, I mean, okay, I have so many things I want to talk to you about and like ask you, but so we'll just go with the flow of the convo. Like you said, you release 2 podcasts a week, then you do a live show. I mean, your YouTube is poppin'. If y'all go, which you need to go look at his YouTube, is it just Zach Peter, or is it
Just plain Zach.
just plain Zach? Okay, which is his Instagram too. So if you haven't followed Zach,
My socials, my website, it's all just plain Zach.
yes, which is easy, right? It's like just plain Zach.
Branding,
So-
you guys, marketing.
It's key, and you have to mention it all.
Yeah, and look at the branding and marketing. My face is on the cans.
That's so fucking good. I'm like so ADD, like, 'cause now I forgot, I want to ask you about how you found like a manufacturer, how you found out about all the wines, how you knew like what nodes to put in it, how much sage you should put in it, how much percentage of, you know, how like no sugar, how the fuck did you figure all this out? And also, how do you do that? Do you do this all by yourself? Because I just don't know when you sleep.
See, I love to micromanage everything.
Oh, yeah.
So when it comes to like every aspect of every piece of like the business that I run, it's all very much like even designing the cans, like I had like notes and I would be like emailing the designer back and I'm like, yes, but like now the wine glass needs to be like tipping over because we're flipping a table. Like I'm just very detail oriented. So I'm very specific about how I like everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times then I'm like, okay, homeboy doesn't get it. I'm gonna fucking go in Photoshop and just like do this myself. Or I'm drawing things at my kitchen counter to like make it look like how I want, which you know, I mean, this is a fabulous little studio you have going on here that like, you know how to run a tight ship.
I too am a control freak, you know what I mean? I feel like maybe that's why I was initially drawn to you. I was like, I feel like, we're twin flames, you know what I mean? And I do, it's like when you know you can do something yourself, which kind of what I was talking to you earlier is like if you can Google anything, you can YouTube anything. You don't need college anywhere. You don't need someone helping you. You can figure it out yourself. You just have to like be willing to put in the work. And so I get it. Like if someone doesn't do it up to my standards, then fuck it, I'll just do it myself and figure it out, because we have up until this point, you know?
And you can, yeah. There's anything quarantine has taught us, it's 1, you're resilient as fuck, and 2, you can figure anything out on your own.
Yes.
If like 74-year-old teachers can figure out Zoom, you can figure out anything. I've always wanted to have my own alcohol brand. Like that's just always been, like since I was like 19. And I remember like at 19, I was like talking to distilleries about launching my own vodka, and I had like a clear idea of what I wanted to do, and I would like
a clear idea. No play on words.
No pun intended. But yeah, so I always wanted to run an alcohol brand, and luckily at the end of last year, I was able to connect with a vodka brand that I'm helping them relaunch at the moment.
Oh, wow.
So stay tuned for that. I will be doing vodka because I'm a vodka drinker. I love vodka.
Okay. He's Russian.
Yeah.
So
Secretly, like in my 23andMe, it didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure they like fucked up the results.
he identifies as Russian, so therefore he is.
Yeah, therefore I am, like Billie Eilish. So then I ended up finding this other brand, Elix, that they do all sorts of different like custom branding with alcohol. And originally the conversations were like, oh, well maybe there will be like a canned seltzer that they do for like the holidays that maybe I'll promote on my podcast. And it just didn't feel like it connected.
Right.
And at the same time, I wanted to kind of take the podcast, because I've been doing my podcast No Filter for 6 years now. And it's grown so much, but I was like, I want to take it to the next level. And I was not the type of person that's like, I want to do a Patreon and charge people for the podcast. Like, it just didn't align. Like, my chakras were just like not connecting with it. And so I was like, what can I do that's kind of fun, that would kind of, you know, make us all, since we all watch reality TV and we talk about it every week and we watch these shows together, what would be a fun way to connect us all together? We're all getting lit as it is, watching these shows, yelling at the TV, wanting to flip a damn table ourselves. So I was like, what would be fun to do? And so it's a limited edition run, only in the summer. And I was like, let's do a rosé, because that feels appropriate for the summer. I love a good rosé, but I'm also very particular about rosé. Like, it has to be really light. It has to be a really blush color. I like a little bubble sometimes.
And I'm like, what color? It's pink.
It's a blush pink, yeah. you know, all those things were like really important to me. And like I had worked with other wine brands in the past. Like I would always craft like healthier cocktails and work with different wine brands, but they always had to be low sugar. They couldn't have they had to be low sulfite, because I would hate getting the wine headaches where you drink a wine and you have a headache and you get like the worst.
So that's from the sulfites.
Yes.
Okay,
And so the other thing too is I would find that with a lot of conventional wines, even the red wines, like a lot of people would get like the purple teeth or like the red tongue.
Right.
And that was because they were adding like dyes into the wine. So there was just so much shitty wine. Like don't get a $2 truck from Trader Joe's. Like yes, it's cost efficient, but you're gonna pay for it later.
Right.
And so with me, I'm just always very particular about wine. So I'm like, I want to create something that's fun that we can all connect over, but like I don't want a hangover tomorrow.
No.
Like at least keep my body looking cute, keep my tushy tight.
And my face not swollen.
And my face not swollen, exactly.
I get hangovers like they're my job now. Like I'm genuinely now, I'm like, am I gonna be hungover tomorrow? Like who knows? Because I feel like I turned 28 and my body was like, fuck you. And I was like, cool, tight. So we'll see, I'll let you know. But hopefully, I'm like, everything you're saying, I'm like, thank God. Because I might be being like, listen, I'm gonna need you to send this to me.
When you're not 19 anymore, you can't just wake up hungover and like bounce back. Like you need to take precautions. And it's like, I wanna have the fun without the pain.
Right, exactly. Why is that so hard? Like why, is that too much to ask? No, what the fuck?
It's not, and I did it.
Exactly, so we have it here. How can people buy this?
So it's available at nofilterwine.com. I make everything easy, nofilterwine.com.
19, already thinking about, starting a vodka company. That's crazy. And I knew, like, I met you, we connected through Sarah and Craig, right? And I knew that if this guy was friends with them, these are friends of ours that host this like networking thing. Yeah. We kind of like connected through there, and they're like, you need to have ZACK on. Like he's incredible. He is so talented. He's so driven. And that was years ago. You know what I mean? Now, and I feel like this is our first time like having a little.
I know. Now we finally get
kiki.
Get a kiki together. I've always had just like that hustler mentality. Like even I remember being in like this 6th grade when like High School Musical came out, and I remember I would have like LimeWire where you would illegally download all the music. And so I was like, if we go to Target, you get a CD for $10, but if I download all of the music, just pay $10 to get blank CDs, I can make this myself. Yeah. And then I would sell the kids.
You're like a Warren Buffett.
Yeah, I was like, and I sold it to them for $3 because that's how much it cost them to buy lunch. So I was like, you can starve for a day and have music which lasts a lifetime.
Right.
And I would sell them on it, and they did it. And they would buy my High School Musical bootleg CDs until that got shut down because our principal was a nun and she loved Jesus and she loved hurting children in their souls. Okay, so she ruined my entrepreneurial dreams.
I fucking saw your TikTok, okay, about how she just sucked. Everybody has that teacher that was just a fucking asshole to them. That seriously, like, you still think about on occasion. Like, I have one that literally called me stupid, straight up called me stupid, and I still think about her, and I kind of fantasize. I'm like, if I saw her in person, her name's Coach Lily, I'm like, what would I do? Because in my head, I'm like, I'd punch her in the face. But obviously, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to get arrested. Or do I? I don't know. We might. So she shut down your entrepreneurial dreams of LimeWire and bootlegging CDs. So then from there.
So from there, I pivoted and I was like, okay, well, I love media. I love Us Weekly and People Magazine. So I was like, I'm going to create my own. So then like in the 7th grade, I was like, okay, I created like my own magazine that I did on like Word and like Paint. Microsoft Paint, or what is it?
Microsoft Paint.
Called, right? And so I'd like created it myself, and I'd be like, Stuart was crying during lunch today. Does anybody have any leads as to what was going on?
You're like Gossip Girl.
I was. And then that got fucking shut down too because they're like, this is a Catholic school and we don't do gossip. And I was like,
they
talk
do.
Shit about each other all the time at lunch. So like, let's not even pretend.
Right.
So that business got shut down. So obviously they just don't love children with dreams.
Right.
And so eventually I went into high school. My brother was diagnosed with autism, so I did a lot of advocacy work and activism work, was raising a lot of money. And I just, that started when I was about 15, and I did a lot of that. I wrote 4 books in that time span about autism up until I was about 25, and then I pivoted full-time into podcasting.
Yeah, I saw that you wrote, he has 4 published books. You're insane. Like, I just think, before you came over, I was telling Brian, I was like, this guy is so fucking cool. Like, he literally has 4 books published. He has 2 podcasts. He does a live show. He has his YouTube channels popping off. Like, I'm so impressed by you. And I just like, is it a one-man show? Like, how do you find time? I mean, I know you said you like to micromanage things, but how do you find time do you have a social life?
So I don't have a social life, and that's why I'm still single. That's why I've never been in a relationship. Like, I'm about efficiency. So for me, it's like, if I have 20 minutes, let's, find out, which of my booty calls is the closest in proximity that I can fit within this hour, because I have a meeting at 3, but I have a podcast taping at 1:30. So let's try to work in these 20 minutes.
You got to get the sex in. It's so crucial. It's so important.
Self-care, you guys.
It's self-care. It's so important.
But it is, for the most part, a one-man show. So it drives me crazy. It's very challenging, but it's like when you do what you enjoy doing, it's fun. I was talking to my 19-year-old brother about this, because he's trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life, and he's like, maybe I want to get into real estate. I'm like, the only people that do real estate are the people that were reality stars and now they need a job.
Right.
But I'm like, do it if you love it. Do it if you want to do it. I was like, I literally make money talking shit about housewives. You can make it a business if you are passionate about it and are willing to, go all in.
100%. And that to me, I got into a conversation with my boyfriend's mom, because she was talking about the importance of a college education. And I did go to college, but I was the conversation started because I was telling her I was trying to drop out every day and my parents wouldn't let me. And she's like, well, aren't you glad that they didn't? And I was like, I mean, my ego is glad, because now when people ask if I went to college, I can say yes, but nowadays, it doesn't really matter. And I don't even remotely use my degree. Masterclass, for example, obviously but I fucking love it. You pay a subscription, and then you can go on there, and there are literally any field you could think of, whether it's comedy, whether it's cooking, whether it's writing, whether it's producing, and you can watch videos tailored towards that and learn stuff. And then Google is college. Again, you just have to put in the work. And so, nowadays I'm I could have started I started my photography business when I was in my freshman year of college, but I was so fucking stressed out all 4 years. I could have saved myself a lot of mental breakdowns, you know what I mean? And gotten out here earlier and started doing this sooner. So, which is what I actually wanted to do. So you started No Filter with ZACK, and then what made you want to start adulting, and then what's the premise behind that? What was the heart behind that?
So No Filter was all pop culture, news, reality TV, and occasionally, I am such a wellness geek that that's why I attend things with Sarah and Craig, because they know so many people in that world. Right. So that was always kind of a secret passion of mine. So I would try to work it into No Filter, and it just wouldn't connect. And people just wouldn't be into it. And they're I don't give a shit about, they're I don't give a shit about biohacking. I don't care about bulletproof coffee. I want to hear you talk shit about Teresa Giudice, who's going to prison. And so I was I'm trying to give you nuggets of wisdoms, you guys. And so eventually I ended up meeting this wellness influencer who had over 300,000 Instagram followers, and we did an event together, and she was like, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a podcast. And so she'd been on my podcast a couple of times, and she's like, let's start this other show. And I was like, okay, well, if we're going to do it, it has to somehow be connected to No Filter. So we called it #adulting. And then I realized, some people have that drive and ethic, and other people are pretty and, live a privileged life and expect other people to do things for them. So I built that baby. I, at launch, turned it into a iTunes top 30 podcast, brought in all of the sponsorship money prior to the show launching. I pulled together a killer guest list of Dave Asprey, Mark Hyman, Jillian Michaels, just so many influential people in that world, that I realized I'm doing all of the work on the show and other people don't care as much as I do. Right. And so ultimately I decided to kind of take that show over, found a new co-host, and we built it into this. It started off as wellness, but now it's become a full lifestyle show. And it's funny that you brought up Masterclass, because that was kind of we just relaunched the show, and that was one of the directions we wanted to take it in, is instead of doing a 1 hour, once a week podcast, I wanted to do more of like a masterclass meets like Netflix series where all the episodes drop at once and, you know, it's very hyper-focused on one topic. So we launched with a sexcapades topic where we dove into threesomes, OnlyFans, sex toys, fetishes and fantasies. And so every episode dives deep with multiple experts and multiple guests, dives deep into that one topic. And so we release a new batch at the top of every month.
That's amazing.
Our next one is called Let's Get High. So we dive into weed and we learn about cannabinoids and what...
Cannabinoids?
I just did a DNA.
What the fuck is a cannabinoid?
You have to watch the show.
Yeah, anything that you're excited about, anything you want people to know, you can just promote it the shit out of on this show and we'll sell it.
You know, my podcasts both are continuing and growing. I'm really excited to see this new evolution of adulting where, like, as we've talked about, like, I'm like a guinea pig. So I love to throw myself in. I've been testing so many different like weed products, like whatever I need to do to like be a guinea pig and then show that experience for people, you know, is like a lot of fun. So that show is enjoyable, but I learn so much and the audience gets to kind of learn with me on that. So that's been really fun to be filming. We did the sex series, we're doing a weed series right now, and then our next one is gonna be a grief series because I just lost my grandmother that was basically like my mother, best friend, closest person I ever had in my life. And that's been a challenge to go through. And I'm like, so many people are grieving right now, whether it's the loss of a loved one or just the challenging year that we've all kind of gone through. So I'm going through that grieving process with everyone on the show. And it's, you know, an interesting journey. So the Adulting Podcast is kind of a fun project right now. No Filter always has the tea. And then, you know, the wine is kind of my newest baby, which is exciting to launch and to be putting out into the world.
You're essentially just hitting all genres, you know what I mean?
Trying.
You are.
And I'm working on my next book. I don't know.
Oh my God, see?
But it's in the process.
Guys, if you don't follow Zach on all social media platforms, you're doing it wrong. It's just plain Zach. Your website, how to buy the wine, it's just plain Zach.com. And you can buy the rosé, which you guys, this is so good. I've already drank one can. It's literally empty. Okay, that was a little bit of a... Whoa, now it's empty? Perfect. And am I gonna open up a second? I'm like, probably. I don't know. Here we go. I've loved having you on the show. I am so excited for everything that you have coming up. I'm so impressed by you. I'm honored that you came on tonight, and you're kicking ass, and you're only gonna do even more amazing things, which is crazy to think about because he already has a Wikipedia page, so what the fuck? Like, how can you go up from there? I don't know.
I'm bitter about that. I have a Wikipedia page, but like I'm not allowed to be on Raya.
Yeah, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I have a Wikipedia, there's a Wikipedia page, there's an IMDb page. People like assume they know what like my net salary is. Like there's all sorts of crazy shit about me on there. But Raya won't let me in. I'm trying
to remember if like mine is still active because I think I have one friend pass.
I've had friend passes.
Okay.
Raya just doesn't like me. I don't know what it is about me.
When did you try to get in though?
Oh, like years ago.
Okay.
And then I was waitlisted.
Okay, well, so I had two friends that tried to get on who were verified. I'm not verified, and I got in. I don't know how. And they didn't get in, and they're verified on Instagram. So like, I would think that they would get in. No, they did not. So I was just gonna say that to say like, don't fret. They're assholes, and it's fine. You know, like whatever. Fuck it. Fuck it. Please, guys, go stock up on this bad boy rosé, bad girl rosé. Maybe flip a table. Maybe mention it all. Maybe buy Kim's goddamn house.
Or steal it.
Or steal it. What did I stole? I forgot the word. And then maybe go check a bitch. I don't know.
Yes, please check a bitch. Check all the bitches.
Check all the bitches. That's what we do on the show. We check a bitch. Zach, I've loved having you on. Thank you so much. You guys, thank you so much for watching Landed Late Night. I've got Landed in the Kitchen coming out. I've got more vlogs coming your way. All the galore will be filming Landed Late Night all throughout the next coming months. We're so excited to be back. Zach, I've loved having you on.
I've loved being on. Thank you.
Guys, the podcast is fucking great. So you're missing out if you're not listening to it. Plus, if you need another, I know the weed thing is probably already done. Now you're about to go into the grief thing. But if you do need help with anyone testing the weed, I
will be eliciting your help.
I can be there for you, you know, like I can be a friend.
We have another week of taping, so I'm gonna be blowing you up and you're gonna be coming in with us.
Okay, perfect. I'm like, Brian, bye, I'll be back in 4 days. Like, we don't know what happened. She's out. All right, you guys, we love you. Have a great week. Mwah. Okay, let's turn the fucking AC on. I'm sweating.